Bam. Okay. All right. Internet Anarchist is released part 2, and I'm told we have the bad ending of this. I don't know if it's the ending, but yeah, things have gotten way worse. Ever since then, I have like definitely kept closer tabs on this, and oof, it is bad. But let's check it out.
Reckless Ben spent months building what was supposed to be the biggest video series of his career, and now he says uploading it would send him to jail. On June 9th, Ben posted a video to his channel titled My Final Message. It runs 1 minute and 42 seconds, and in it, he tells his audience that episode 3 of his LEGO investigation is completely finished, after what he describes as
crazy all-nighters and basically destroying my health.
He drops a bombshell.
Not just his health, but also like his shoulder. Like they dislocated his shoulder.
I can't post it or I will go to jail.
According to Ben, he is not even allowed to mention the company at the center of the story, which he now refers to only as this mysterious company, and the consequences he describes goes beyond the video itself. In his words, posting episode 3 means,
I will also immediately lose my lawsuit of $300,000, and the GoFundMe we made for Brian will go straight to this mystery company.
That GoFundMe is its own problem. The fundraiser...
Dude, how did we get here? How? Like, they lost the lawsuit. They lost so much. They're proving corruption. And we're here. How did we get here? To where, like, Ben is, like, facing jail time because of a company's fuck up. How? Hi, Jane. How are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I hope all is good.
Set up to help Brian Mansell recover the value of his elderly father's Star Wars LEGO collection had climbed to $450,000. But if you visit the page today, you won't see a total, a donor list, or even an update. You'll see GoFundMe's generic page not found screen. Nearly $500,000.
Yeah, because the GoFundMe was like the only thing that I already forgot the police department that they really should be looked into. I think they are. If I remember correctly, they are. This police department is looked in right now for a huge amount of corruption. They kind of use that as the arrest. Hi, I'm alright. How are you? I'm doing good. It is finally the weekend. Happy Friday. But yeah, I'm doing good. Just checking out things. Right now we're checking on part 2 of the this huge thing. And oh, I'm so scared for the ending of this. I really am.
Raised by hundreds of thousands of viewers, now sits behind a dead link, and the one person who claims to know why says he'll go to jail if he explains it. Which means this story has mutated into something much stranger than where it started. Real quick, the future me here, the GoFundMe website was since reinstated. However, whether the money raised actually goes to Brian is still in question, and you'll find out why. What's begun as a question about his missing LEGO collection is now a situation where the third video in the series cannot legally be uploaded. The fundraiser has vanished from public view, and the company being investigated is wielding a RICO lawsuit and a court-ordered restraining order against the people talking about it. To be clear, almost everything here is still an allegation. Ben claims he's being silenced, the company claims it's being defamed and threatened. A judge has signed an order, but no court has ruled on who is actually telling the truth. And if the correct—
Yeah, but which judge? Because this went through 2 judges. Well, technically 3. The first judge gave Ben the win by default because they didn't even show up to court. The second one said, this is stupid, we're dismissing this. And then the third one approved it and did a bunch of other weird stuff for it. So is this the same third judge?
corruption in Utah is as bad as it seems, we might never even find out the truth. What can be said with confidence is this: the company's attempt to make this story go away has involved a restraining order before Ben could argue his side, a lawsuit normally associated with organized crime, and a vanished fundraiser, and every one of those moves has made the story bigger. This is everything that happened after part 2, and how a dispute over plastic bricks ended up testing what a company can legally do to stop a YouTuber from talking. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube.
Man, all that's just the title. Like that's why this whole thing is crazy. My God.
Documentaries, and today we're diving back into the reckless Ben vs Bricks and Minifigs situation. If you missed the last video, here's a 30-second version.
We watched this.
Was helping his father sell his Lego Star Wars collection, valued at around $200,000. It went on consignment at a Bricks and Minifigs store in Oregon. Then the store changed hands, and when Brian came back for the collection, most of it was gone. YouTuber Reckless Ben picked up the story and turned it into a 2-part investigation that pulled in millions of views and made Bricks and Minifigs the most hated Lego brand on the internet. The last video covered the fallout, Ben's arrest, and the police.
I don't remember the video covered this, but there is a post out there from somebody that I think they work for Bricks and Minifigs that they've said a lot of distributors for Lego has pulled from Bricks and Minifigs, and that's why they're probably claiming onto the defamation case, because they're losing business because of their decisions.
Controversy that followed, the company's first public statements denying responsibility, and its failed attempt to get Ben's content pulled from Patreon. At the time, it looked like the company was losing the internet fight, so it stopped fighting on the internet and took the fight into a courtroom. The document that silenced
that they threatened, they lost. They lost again. I think they lost like 10 times because they sued them 10 different times and they lost every single one of them. And they even said, sue us. So they went with what they wanted, and they didn't get the outcome that they thought they could because they thought it was all fake.
Ben is a temporary restraining order signed on May 28th by Judge Tony F. Graff Jr. in Utah's 4th Judicial District Court. The original document isn't on a public court portal, but a mirrored copy of the filing has been circulating online, and the details inside it explain almost everything about Ben's final message. Speaking of legal matters, you may be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their apps could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent history verdict underscores the consequences.
I think Facebook's a part of that. Like they take a lot of data and they don't even tell you in their thing.
Media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for the case. With that being said, let's get right back into the video. The first detail is how the order was granted. The filing says the matter came before the court on the plaintiff's ex parte motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. Ex parte is a legal term that means exactly what it sounds like it shouldn't. One side showed up, told the judge their version of events, and got the order, before Ben presented his side at that stage. Ben put it more bluntly.
I want to say something mean. They showed up, told their side, and handed a fat check, probably. Probably that's what happened.
In his video.
I was not given a chance to share my side. The court just heard their perspective, not mine.
That's a normal mechanism for genuine emergencies. Whether this qualified as one is now the entire argument. Then there's what the order actually restricts. Some of it is the kind of thing nobody would defend. No making or facilitating death threats, bomb threats, or physical threats of harm. No doxing the plaintiffs or their staff. No coming within 1,000 yards of company locations or homes after being put on notice. No impersonating people, no fake contracts or fake court documents, and no signs implying the plaintiff stole from.
Except none of the paperwork was fake. He went through like all the legal matters. He got the actual court paperwork. The cops knew that. That's why they even told the guy, don't even like look at the paper because it's real and it will go against you. Because the cops favored one side, which is hugely, hugely illegal. And they even got one of the I forgot her title. It was the time that they were trying to hand him the paperwork. He got called the cops on him like 5 times. That she is legally able enough to hand over the paperwork, and they just kept saying like she was a friend, but no.
Elderly people or closed down to dodge a judgment. If that were the whole order, this would be a very different video, but it keeps going. The order also bans creating or reposting false, misleading, harassing, interfering, defamatory, or unlawful content about the plaintiffs, and requires the publication.
Except everything that everything that was posted about it comes from the contracts from their company, their own social media post, which I can only imagine what their social media post is right now. I can't imagine that because they even promoted the stolen Legos.
Relating to the dispute to be immediately removed and or taken down from online platforms. That last clause is the direct reason episode 3 cannot be uploaded, and according to Kotaku, it reaches backwards too, meaning even Ben's previous videos may have to come down. In other words, a judge ordered the investigation that tens of millions of people watched to be erased before any court has decided whether a single claim in it was false. One more detail from the filing, the court required no bond from the company, finding the defendants would suffer no legitimate harm from being restrained. Ben would presumably point at his finished, unpostable episode and disagree. The restraining order is temporary by definition, with a preliminary injunction hearing meant to follow, and the mirrored copy shows the hearing date should be on the 22nd of June, so the clock that decides whether this silence becomes semi-permanent hasn't even been set, and the company that obtained the order, Bricks and Minifigs, is only getting started, because the restraining order was just the opening move of a much bigger lawsuit. The most explosive claim in Ben's final message is his explanation of how the company convinced a judge to silence him in the first place.
Oh, we got that information?
The order was put on me because this company was telling the court that I was making bomb threats, I was planning on murdering the manager and employees, which obviously I didn't do.
If that sounds insane for a story about secondhand...
And this is the thing that I don't understand, like... that I fully believe a fat check was cleared is because where is that proof? They know that they stole the Legos and now they're making up stuff. And they're just doing the trust me bro deal. Whenever like this goes into court, I highly doubt this will be brought up, but if the judge is smart, which honestly right now I doubt it, the judge should say, where's the evidence that any of this was placed? Like, seriously.
And Lego, the company's actual court filing, is worth reading carefully, because what it alleges is both less and more damning than Ben makes it sound. The complaint does not claim Ben personally wrote a bomb threat. What it alleges is that after his videos went up, the defendants directly or indirectly solicited, incited, and or caused the company and its franchisees to receive death and bomb threats. As evidence, it attaches examples of threatening emails received on May 21st, including one that reads, "I will be mailing you guys some explosive Lego sets. Super hot items."
Oh shit.
About to go boom. So the company's theory isn't that...
So okay, now I see what they're doing. They're going to pin the public that has like nothing to do with him to Ben. That's the play that they're doing. They're saying everybody who has like sent them anything is Ben's fault, even though Ben has directly never done any of this stuff. What the fuck? That's like such a far stretch. Hey Gasly Gwen, how are you? The Lego tea is crazy. Oh yeah, this is part 2 of it. This is stuff that got updated recently, like within the last week. And I didn't think we would get a part 2 so fast. And the only thing that I was given a heads up on, that apparently, which is the court restraining order stuff from like a few days ago, we might have the bad ending of this. We won't know until potentially next month.
that Ben sent the threats, it's that his videos acted as a delivery system for the people who did. To be fair to everyone here, those threats appeared to be real. They were sent to real employees, and nobody should be receiving them over a Lego dispute. Ben denies making or planning anything of the sort, and no court has found that he is—
I agree, this should not go to the employees, because the employees are literally just following directions, and Bricks and Minifigs has pushed out one of the branch owners just because they wanted to. So the employees of there that has nothing to do with this, and the ones that step forward, I'm pretty sure by now the ones that step forward that Ben has uploaded is probably fired right now, or going to be fired whenever this court case is done, which they said it's going to be the 22nd of next month. So yeah, I honestly, they're in like such a bad spot about this. Like they are fully grasping, and to be honest, I'm disappointed all around with the judges, except for the one judge that said this is stupid, and they dismissed it, and then they immediately went to the second judge, because this went through 3 judges. The first one was the one that sided with Ben. The second one just told Bricks and Minifigs, like, you guys are stupid, there's a contract, bring it up. And then the third one is the one that's siding with them, which is why I am sticking with there's potentially a fat check in the bank account now. CoffeeZilla just released a video on this. See, I said that the last time we saw anything about this was like CoffeeZilla. Oh crap. CoffeeZilla like knows how to handle a lot of this stuff, but he does do like a lot of like crypto investigations. But I do feel like this is like right up his alley. I didn't know he uploaded a video about it. I could check that out another day. I just don't want to like recap on something that we already know about within it. But yeah, I'll check it out. I'll ask my mods if they can like see if there's like anything about that. Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs tanked their fucking reputation. Oh, absolutely, they did. They're blaming Ben for other Lego distributors for pulling out on giving them their Legos to sell. Like the way Lego works is like they branch out with like other stuff. Like I'm sure there's like a division for like Harry Potter, for Star Wars. I don't know all that Lego has, but I'm sure there's like other stuff. They pulled out from working within them, and like there's been some reputable people from that company that says like they can't get these like other companies to work with them because of this. And they're not saying they're like pulling out fully, but they're saying like they're going to wait for that. Yeah, yesterday recommend the watch. Okay. I'll like usually I try to see if I can react to these videos. But yeah, we'll see if I have the all clear to watch it. We'll watch it tomorrow. I'll put it first for the stream tomorrow if we could. You're good. He interviews both parties on it. Oh, really? I can only imagine. I forgot his name. It starts with a J. I can only imagine what he's saying. He's like, yeah, we didn't steal any Legos. When we got the company, we own it all. We don't owe Ben and them any money. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes, because he seems like that type of potential person that does it. Because like the video we reacted to, I think it was last week. Last week or a few days ago. I don't remember. Like the showcases for all the games was like such a blur. There was so much going on within that. But I remember he kept denying it all, and he kept like blaming everything on him. I'm pretty sure the guy who owns Bricks and Minifigs right now, what he's doing, he's probably like somewhere and he stubbed his toe. And because he stubbed his toe, he didn't say, oh, that was my fault. He probably just said, damn it, Ben. That's probably what he did. He screams that kind of a guy to me.
encouraged anyone to do so. But the legal significance of this framing is hard to overstate. A judge reading a complaint about a defamation dispute sees a speech case, and speech cases come with constitutional alarm bells. A judge reading about bomb threats, murder plots, and frightened employees sees a safety case, and safety cases get emergency orders. Whether intentional or not, the threat allegations transformed Ben from a YouTuber with a camera into a threat that needed restraining, in a hearing where he wasn't present to argue the difference, which is why Ben's other line from the video matters so much.
I was not given a chance to share my side. The court just heard their perspective, not mine.
The first time Ben got to respond to the claim that he was planning murders was after the order based on that claim had already silenced him, and the lawsuit attached to that order showed the company wasn't trying to just restrain him, it was trying to take everything he'd built.
Didn't one time Ben and like his crew got like pulled over by the cops, and I forgot what the claim was. There was like a claim that they needed to like search the car for something, and searching the car took 8 hours to do, and they found nothing, and they still persisted. Ben was at the wrong somehow for it. There was something that took them 8 hours to search the entire car on the side of the road.
Restraining order is just one piece of the lawsuit that shows how completely the company abandoned its PR strategy. In late May, Bricks and Minifigs franchising, its executives Amon and Matthew McNeff, the Salem store operators Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best.
Joshua Johnson, that's who I'm thinking of. They stopped him for running a stop sign, but he never did. Yeah, we did review that footage. We also did look into like the time the police officer dislocated his arm. When the cop made the claim, he was running away, but all he was doing was following this single file line that the cops ordered them to do. But they pointed out Ben, and they just did that. They started screaming stuff because they needed it for the body cam footage. They were just like, yeah, let's get it for the body cam footage. But like, I do remember the stop sign. We did review the stop sign pole, which that's illegal on its own. Within that, he did not do a rolling stop. He did not do I'm trying to remember everything that they said. A rolling stop, ignoring the stop sign. There was like one other, but I cannot place my finger on it. But he did fully stop. That was proven. He even used turn signals, which is something not a lot of people do, which that drives me insane that nobody uses turn signals, but he even used turn signals. The car came to a fully stop. You review the footage, you can see the car do like that stop and jolt back, and the turn signal was on. And with the car being stopped, the police car had enough time to creep up on him, and after he made the turn, bam, the lights went on. The police corruption is crazy. Yeah, it is. And that really bad like police video that they did was absolutely fucking wild. It was like the most. I think it's like really bad even if the ASMR community said this is the worst one ever. And it was so bad for that. Like, why did they choose the bright white background? Like, oh, okay, I'm going to critique that video really quick. Why did they choose the bright white background and they had to pause in between every word? Like, they were just, we did everything that we could. We followed police procedure. And we did everything within the correctness of it. And then they tried bringing up other stuff within it, that Ben used stock photo for his shoulder, which I doubt he could even get that, because like that's like such a complicated deal, and getting an x-ray for your shoulder compared to being called on by the cops multiple days for multiple times is probably more of a precedent than that. And you can even see it's a stock photo of a shoulder. Just take 2 seconds of research for that instead of just like, yep, this is how it is. But realistically, if that's how they operate in that police department, they're like, oh, he used hold on, it went too fast, I left it playing for 1 second. Shoulder image. Idiots. Like there is huge amount of corruption, and they did say there's going to be like some investigation within them.
And an entity called Baker Bricks filed a suit in Utah County against Ben, his company Reckless Ben LLC, Brian Mansell, Ben's associate Victor Nguyen, and 15 unnamed defendants. Read that defend list again. The company isn't just suing the YouTuber, it's suing the man who just wanted to get his family's Lego sets back, Brian Mansell.
That all of this could have been avoided if you literally were not just such a pretentious asshole and just read the contracts. Like I've said it before in the last video, when you buy out a company or take over a company, first thing you do is have your lawyers look over every contract. She even tried to explain to him some of the pieces were sold. They have not calculated the math of how much he's owed, and he just ignored it. It was like, I don't care, get out of my building. Get out of my building now. Get off my lawn. Like seriously, like what the hell are we doing here?
The headline accusation that has been blowing up all over the internet is racketeering. The complaint's first count is brought under Utah's RICO statute, the kind of law written for organized crime, alleging that a YouTuber, his cameraman, and a man trying to recover his father's Lego collection formed an enterprise engaged in a pattern of unlawful activity. From
What
there,
the fuck?
The complaint stacks up 12 more counts: defamation, injurious falsehood, civil conspiracy, tortious interference, civil stalking, nuisance, trespass, intentional infliction of emotional distress, unjust enrichment, declaratory relief, and injunctive relief. 13.
Okay, out of all of this, I wish I can see the whole list right now. Out of all of this, I am not for the stalking thing. Like, I get Ben's position on it. Like, this company literally thinks they're untouchable, but clearly they're not. By the world, like they're only untouchable like where they are, where they within that. But a lot of this is just such bullshit. You're just racking on the charges to get more of a price out of this to shut Ben out, and Ben got to the point he had to flee to Mexico. Like, if I remember correctly, he's still in Mexico at this current moment. Like, this whole thing is insane. Like, every year we get like some sort of like wild thing that happens. I honestly think this takes the case, to be honest. Oh, Ghostblade, thank you so much for 22 months. Wow, wow, Stream Elements is really not working today. I have to look into it because it wasn't working. Oh wait, am I? Sorry. Let me just do this. Hold on. Because I did this. I thought I turned that off. Oh wait, I did, but it was still going. Why? Screw it, I'm just going to do this. Let me head here. Okay, yeah. Think it was because of like a bunch of weird stuff. I did not know that was still going. That was my bad. Why was it going? I don't know. Lots of things are kind of breaking because Stream Elements. I hate to compare it. I'm not going to compare it. Stream Elements is currently moving a bunch of stuff, and that was like the main thing I use. Even they said it was going to be glitchy. And now it's playing that. But yeah, Ghostplay, thank you again for the 22 months. 2 more months and it would be 2 years. Wow. Oh my god. My gosh. But thank you for giving me the heads up. I'm sorry to everyone else that was hearing that. I thought I turned it off. What was I on about this? I already talked about the stalking thing. There really was no trespass for. Yeah, there was no trespass order before. Yeah, like it's hard to put in a trespass deal for someone that was not alerted before that there was trespassing because they thought this would just go away, but it didn't. Hi, Miami. How are you? I'm here, Princess Death. Aw. Ghastly Gwen, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Ads, no? Okay, hold on. Let me know when there's no more ads. I'm sorry for the ads. Which actually, let me see something. Hold up. Because I don't have. Oh, the little wiggles, Gwen. Aw. Okay. It is telling me the ads are gone. I'm sorry. Is it gone? Because I get it. Every time I play a single player game, I do try to pause the game, but it's kind of hard with online games. You guys know how it is. Supporting the fellow VTubers and man, I misread that so wrong. I'm sorry. I woke up like 2 hours ago and I kind of panicked because like I was trying to get videos up, supporting the fellow VTubers and am loving the reaction tea. Yeah. Yeah, I try to keep up with as much news as I can. There's a few news stuff I want to watch today. Because man, this is like honestly, I cannot believe like the first half of the video that we watched was like so crazy. I did not catch it until the day of the shoulder incident happened. That was when I caught wind of this. I was like, I had no idea about the Lego thing until that day happened. And I was like, whoa, what is happening here? Lamau, you're good. I can't read. Yeah, that's why I love the meme of like, oh, new people, let me mispronounce your name like an idiot. But I am assuming the ads is gone. Are we back? Yeah, because it says it's off for me, but I know the timer is like way different for you guys. I can't control that mostly. It's off often like joining in deal with like Twitch. So many VTubers I follow are currently playing D2. So I did say at the beginning of the stream I wanted to catch up on some new stuff. There's like stuff I wanted to see. Then later we're going to be playing Backrooms with Mia, G, and Sumi later today. And then after that, I plan on hopping on Destiny to give it my hoorah for that. Because they did. Okay, so I kind of got spoiled a little bit because, like, yesterday while I was editing videos, I was waiting for something to, like, go through, and I saw they released the final ending to everything for that, but we still want Destiny 3. I'm still on that side. A 5 stream streak, Miami. I didn't know you watched me. I thought you hated me. I feel so bad. Well, don't feel bad. Is D2 the one game where they play where they gave players what they wanted and said, "Okay, bye, we're done"? Yeah, I think they just like gave us all the stuff that we wanted, but like one of the things that a past dev has said that was recently let go from like a few days ago. Everything that's in Destiny right now, plus more that we still don't have, it was originally denied because of the higher ups at Bungie. That was confirmed from past employees. Right now, they're in a state of just like, well, this is what we wanted. This is not our fault. This is higher up's fault. If you have an open slot, let me know. Yeah, I will. We're going to be working on Pinnacle stuff later today. I heard D2 was really good until after a certain point. Then it went bad. I've debated on buying it because it's a huge sale. Okay. Destiny has had a few bad seasons. I will say that. They've had like at least 2 really bad DLCs that doesn't make sense in the story. But I still have fun with Destiny. Yes, it becomes a headache at times, but I do recommend Destiny. I recommend it if you're looking for like a shooter MMO. It is labeled as one of the shooter MMOs. I do recommend it. But I would say do the free trial part of it that comes before the DLCs first to see if you like it. I will say that. I got the laminate callus today. Ooh, nice. One of the things I do kind of want to work on is getting some of the lightsabers. Like, I do have the Warmind lightsaber and the red Kyber crystal. Finally.
Claims aimed at every video, stunt, sign, and social post of the past several months. But the count list isn't the scary part. The scary part is what the company is asking.
I also do need to work on some
Beyond
catalysts.
the damages and attorney fees, the complaint demands an accounting and disgorgement of essentially every dollar the campaign has ever generated. YouTube ad revenue, Patreon income, merch sales.
Whoa. I don't think this was ever streamed, and getting the streaming revenue and the YouTube ad revenue, those are 2 numbers that is hard to like calculate for that. Because like you are talking about 6 videos, 6 different deals, and the way YouTube does their ad revenue is they combine everything within a month into that. So that is hard to calculate. There used to be good programs to see it, but even streaming revenue, advertisement revenue, that was explained on Nick's video. Like, that's something hard to see realistically. Subscriber fees, you can't calculate that off of a video because like YouTube does a really bad way of like telling you the subscriber like parts of that. Hey, Death, guess what? What's up?
Sponsorships, podcast and website revenue, and the GoFundMe money. This is the mystery company math from Ben's final message. When he says the fundraiser will go straight to this mystery company, he's describing what happens if Ben wins this claim. The $450,000 raised for Brian could legally be redirected to the business accused of losing his collection in the first place. It's worth being honest about both sides here, because the most credible people outside of the commentary community refuse to pick a team.
Incoming.
Dirt's Mike Masnick, who has spent decades covering exactly these kinds of speech disputes.
I mean, I'm keeping that in the YouTube video. I am keeping that in there.
Wrote that a lot of people should have spoken to competent lawyers before doing what they did, and that Ben's approach to going viral is not a legal strategy. Stunts, signs, and showing up at people's homes handed Bam real claims to work with. But the same analysis...
I never looked up if this sign is still there. I said I was going to, but oh my god, I forgot to look that up. Can someone look that up and see if this sign is still there? I doubt it, but... oh god, I forgot about that because this sign is like the most hilarious thing ever.
investors describes BAM's conduct as looking very sketchy, and calls the company's claim that it had no notice of Brian's consignment plainly bullshit, since circulating video allegedly shows the previous owner explaining that exact liability during the handover. In TechDirt's reading, this is not a story with a competent side, and less than a week after filing a lawsuit defending the Salem store's operators, the company did something that made everyone reread the complaint. It cut them off. On June 4th, a press release went out over Business Wire with a headline
Made it on the
following
weird
story
YouTube's
expected.
video.
Bricks and minifig
That'll be my reaction, honestly. Miami, one day, if I ever could be in like a few like clip channels like that. Honestly, like some people have said, like, where's the death one with his bad driving? First of all, not a bad driver. Just saying. Don't ever bring up the Cyberpunk video, ever. That was an accident. Somebody put a construction pole in the way. But yeah.
parts ways with Salem, Oregon franchise owners Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson. The company announced the permanent closure of the Salem store, and what it carefully described as a mutual agreement to part ways, with Brandon Best and Joshua Johnson, the same two men listed as plaintiffs on the RICO lawsuit the week before. To be precise about what this is and isn't, a mutual separation is not an admission of theft, and BAM admitted no wrongdoing by anyone. But after months of insisting the internet had the story wrong, the company had now permanently erased the store the story was about, and removed the owners at the center of it. The same announcement contained an even bigger
I remember, this was like a few days ago, the original owners that they pushed them out, they said they're joining the lawsuit against Bricks and Minifigs because of what they did and what they're doing to their name. I remember I saw that. So what are you going to do for E-Day since it's a console exclusive? No, it's not. It's not a console exclusive. It's an Xbox side exclusive, means it's not going to PlayStation. It's still on Steam. It still is on the Steam store to be released the same day because Xbox is doing things for both PC and Xbox. It's just it's not going to PlayStation. Gears E-Day was on the PlayStation store the day of it was announced, but then they pulled it out like a day after it. A day after that it was announced it's an Xbox console exclusive. It's no longer on the PlayStation store, but it still is on Steam. It still has a set release date on Steam for the same day. The beta, well, actually, we got announced that there's 2 betas. Both betas are still coming to PC as well.
Universal. BAM said it remained willing to sit down with Brian directly. It offered to hand over whatever Star Wars Lego was or remains in the Salem store, whether you identify as yours or not. And according to Como's reporting, the company was even prepared to discuss removing Brian from its own lawsuit. Let's just think about that for a second. This is the company that sued Brian for racketeering, now publicly offering to compensate him, give him the Lego, and possibly drop him from the case 6 days after filing it. BAM prepared the
That is like a lawyer hell for that. Like I'm not speaking for the lawyer side of that, but that is like such a hellhole for that, of when you set a court date and then you present evidence and then you present the plaintiffs and the defendants and every one of the witnesses, they are set in stone that they have to be there. And once they're there, they have to be there through the whole proceeding. There's no getting out of it unless the judge dismisses you. Like, let's say, like, you're part of, God, what's the best example I can think of for this? A divorce, right? For a divorce court, and you gave a ride to one of the persons being divorced back to the house. You have to stay there, give your side of, given one side of the ride, and then 90% of the time, you have to stay in the divorce court all the way through, unless the judge dismisses you because you show no other significance to the case of it. How could they do that shit? Oh my God. Wow. And I'm pretty sure that's a bad example, but that's like close to what it is within like court cases of bringing people in and bringing them out. It has to be dismissed by the judge. They need to drop that wording of console by this point. That shit is not necessary. Yeah, but it's like the whole thing of that, because Xbox has even released the ROG handheld that's coming in with like built-in Xbox and Steam support, and they're not going to drop like PC side of that, because they even saw like a lot of like PC sales is been affecting Xbox, and they even announced recently they're in a bit of a hole right now because they fully blame Phil Spencer. But I do agree but it's kind of hard to word it now because like games are coming to PC, PlayStation's pulling out of PC a lot, which is stupid. It's a whole thing on that. It just needs to be reworded, and with it being rewarded and them doing this too, both PlayStation and Xbox, I think we're reigniting the console wars, which we don't need. The console wars just ended. Let's be real.
Olive Branch with a counter-narrative about the numbers. The company now claims the collection was never worth $200,000, putting its value at roughly $95K to $100K, and says the point of sales data shows more than $52,000 in sales that may match Brian's items during the previous owner's tenure, implying Brian was paid or owed far less than the viral figure suggests, which leaves the obvious question hanging over the whole announcement. If the company's position was that this was always a private dispute it bore no responsibility for, why does the end game look exactly like what Ben's video?
I still don't know why is he in a Speedo in this video. I don't get it.
And an offer to make Brian whole. Nerdbreak put it best. The location at the center of the consignment fight is now shut. The dispute outlived the store. BAM gave the internet nearly everything it had been screaming for, while still suing the people who did the screaming. And days later, a court filing from the store's previous owner surfaced a document that made the company's public statements look even worse. In BAM's June 4th statement, there's one sentence that has now come back to bite them. The company wrote, "Consignment sales have never been a part of the BAM model, the franchise agreement, or the operations manual. In other words, consignment was never our thing, it's not in our contracts, never has been. There's just one problem. The contract says otherwise." Crystal Law, the previous owner of the Salem store, is suing BAM, and attached to her lawsuit is a copy of the actual franchise agreement. The contract...
The agreement that they refused to look at, that all they had to do was just look at this paper, but he, like in the video of him pushing out the store owners, he was too connected on his phone. He was so connected on his phone, if you look at him, his phone is plugged into something, and the plug goes all the way to his back pocket. There was like a meme I saw that he's so invested in his phone, he's plugged his ass into the phone.
Between BAM and its store owners. In the list of services a store can offer, it says this: franchisees may also offer consignment services. So the company said consignment was never in the franchise agreement. Then their own franchise agreement showed up in court, and it says consignment right there in black and white. Now, one piece of fairness before anyone declares the case over, the contract also says these services need the company's approval. So this doesn't prove that BAM approved Brian's deal, and it doesn't automatically make them responsible for his collection. But that's not what BAM said. They didn't say this deal wasn't approved, they said consignment was never in the agreement at all, and that just doesn't appear to be true. Crystal Law's lawsuit goes much further than one contract page. She and her partner say that back in November 2024, BAM suddenly terminated their franchise, changed the locks, and took the store and everything inside it. As she put it, "Our lives were turned upside down when the corporate franchisor behind our bricks and minifig store abruptly seized our business, changed the locks, confiscated our inventory, and publicly accused us of theft. And if that's true, it matters. It would mean that when Brian's collection..."
This happens with fast food places too. I know two franchises that does this: Taco Bell and Jack in the Box. If you get to like a certain point, I forgot exactly what the point is, you can own parts of the branches as yourself and keep more of the profit of that, but they have the full legal authority to shut down the places, which does happen a lot, mostly with Jack in the Box, that Jack in the Box comes in and does shut down like the side branches part of it. But like that's the reason why like it's good and bad at the same time for like these things to like happen for it. Because like on one hand you have more money of it, but on the other hand you still have to pay a fee to the branch owners of like Taco Bell and Jack in the Box, because like you are owner of that like particular store branch. You just can't open up any more branches of that fast food chain of it. But we're seeing now what Bricks and Minifigs does to like their side branches, which these people did own. You should next react to Skeletor reacts to Death of Destiny. That's in the list. Don't worry, I got you.
Went missing, the people in control of the store and everything in it weren't the local owners. It was Bricks and Minifigs corporate. To be clear, these are her accusations, not proven facts.
I'm still saying to this day, these earrings are fucking bitchin'. Got like the Mandalorian Grogu Lego earrings. Straight awesome.
And BAM disputes them, but look at where the company now stands. Its public defense is contradicted by its own contract, its own former store owner is suing it, and the store itself is gone. Meanwhile, the one person who can't say anything about it is the YouTuber who started asking questions. And the lawsuit isn't even Ben's only legal problem. While all of this was happening, he was also facing criminal charges in Utah. These came out from the stunts from his Part 2 video. According to local reports, Ben is charged with 4 misdemeanors: stalking, targeted residential picketing, disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass. Not felonies, but real charges in a real criminal court with jail time on the table if things go badly. The police version of events,
which I'm sure that's what Bricks and Minifigs is pushing for, and that might be why they pushed out the one guy from the company to help enforce this case, because I'm pretty sure they're pulling a deal where like they're excluding him from the company, and it was set on this date, and they just went after somebody that has no affiliation with the company. And for them doing that, they're going to try to extend the jail time, because if it was with the company, with the guy, it would all be like one sentence. But if they split up the people that's involved with it, they can add in more time on it. I'm pretty sure that's the play within this.
goes like this. They say Ben kept coming back to the franchisee, Joshua Johnson's home, sent other people to knock on the door and deliver packages, took photos of the house, and planted a sign outside that read, "I stole a dying man's life savings." Police say Ben admitted the sign was meant to get Joshua Johnson to come outside. Remember, this is the police account written to justify the charges. It's not the verdict. Ben tells it differently. He says he wasn't stalking anyone. He was serving legal papers and investigating the story. When the local police chief put out a 20
God, this video, like, this video with the cops, worst thing I've ever seen. Like, I think this goes into, does it go into like the worst apology video? Because I think the worst apology video was like that one person who was dancing and saying they're going to be a better person. Like that topped the ukulele thing.
Ben fired back with a point-by-point.
Oh yeah, here's the bullshit stop.
For the original.
Look at that shit again. Look at the car. Stop sign. Car.
A point-by-point rebuttal disputing.
It's not moving. That's a complete stop. He even has the turn signal on.
The reason for the original traffic stop and the way the searches were handled. And he has one fact that's hard to argue with. When police searched his Airbnb with a warrant, looking for stolen Lego, they found nothing. No stolen items were found and none were seized. The case is still active and Ben hasn't entered a plea as of the latest reports. A protective order was granted against him in May and a court date came and went on June 8th with no public word of what happened. So picture Ben's position right now. A lawsuit that could take every dollar he's earned, a court order that bans him from posting, and a criminal case that could put him in jail, the same jail he keeps mentioning in his videos. That's the backdrop for the question that the whole saga now comes down to. What is this story actually about anymore? Because here's the thing.
It also doesn't really help, like there's multiple other things, like people are looking into Bricks and Minifigs, like legally, and a full-on investigation of the police department is now happening to this one single police department, which is a good thing. Like now they're being investigated because not every cop was against Ben. There was some that was like on his side of this, and they even like tried with it, but they tried their best to get certain people that's on Bricks and Minifig's side immediately, which is hugely illegal.
This stopped being one story a long time ago. It's now 3 fights happening at the same time. The first fight is the original one, and it's easy to forget it's still unanswered. What actually happened to Brian's collection? How much was it really worth? How much is he still owed? And who has to pay him?
I think it still is worth the $200,000, but I think Bricks and Minifigs is doing the GameStop approach where they're saying it's only worth $52,000 because, like, you know, like you go to GameStop, you give them like, let's say a PlayStation 5, 20 games, a $90 controller, and then they come back to you with $1.50. That's what Bricks and Minifigs is doing. They're trying to undermine this.
The old store owners, the new ones, or the company itself? After 2 viral videos, multiple lawsuits, and months of chaos, nobody has actually answered the question that started all of this. The second fight is about what BAM is really doing. Read their June 4th statement one way, and it's a company finally cleaning up its mess. Store closed, owners gone, and an open offer to make Brian whole. Read it the other way, and it's a company solving its PR problem while its lawyers solve everyone else. Because
I will say oh my god, bright light. The worst thing that should go against them in the court is them promoting the Lego figurines for $200,000. They promoted it on their Instagram. They said it's worth $200,000. They say they don't have it. It's right there on their Instagram.
Doesn't say we made mistakes, it says the backlash itself was the crime. Either the internet was wrong about you, or you just shut down the store the internet was right about. The third fight is the one that affects more than just these people. Where's the line? Ben didn't just make videos, he showed up at homes, planted signs, and sent people to knock on doors. At some point, a YouTube investigation can turn into harassment, and a court may decide Ben crossed that line. But the company's answer wasn't to sue over the stunts. It was to get an order that erases the videos too. And at some point, a company defending itself turned into a company silencing criticism. It's entirely possible both lines were crossed in the same story. TechDirt's take captures the mess on both sides. Going viral, as Maznik wrote, is not a legal strategy, and Ben's stunts handed BAM the best ammunition. But he also points out why people like Brian and...
I will say this, like, there's a lot of talk in the creator space about having like videos like these up. A lot of people are saying nothing is going on for Bricks and Minifigs. I know part one of my reaction, it should have went up today or yesterday. I don't know, like so much is a blur right now. I have said I want to keep an eye on this because if something happens, we'll see. Because all this is public statements.
Up turning to YouTubers in the first place. There's a dead zone in the legal system where a dispute is too big for small claims court and too expensive for a normal person to litigate. Brian's collection sat right in that dead zone. The courts had no easy door for him. Ben was the door he found. So here's where everything stands. Episode 3 is finished but locked away, the restraining order is in force, the RICO lawsuit is active, the Salem store is permanently closed, its owners are gone, and BAM is now offering to make Brian whole, while still suing him, and still trying to claw back every dollar the video's ever made. And since I recorded this video, 2 important things changed. First, the GoFundMe was restored, so it's no longer just a dead link. The question is where that money ultimately goes, whether Brian actually receives it, or whether it gets pulled into the legal battle as Ben warned. Second, Copyzilla uploaded his own investigation.
Oh, look at that, he did. Alright, we'll look into the CoffeeZilla video when we get the chance.
Adds a whole new layer to the situation. CoffeeZilla went through photos, videos, store records, and interviews with people on both sides, and his conclusion was basically that the situation was a lot more complex than simply 200,000.
Dude, I've said this so much, and I'll still stick by it. CoffeeZilla is like the internet's Batman. He is like the internet's greatest detective. He finds things that nobody can ever think of. He, like, my God, He goes into like such crazy stuff. He finds out such crazy stuff. Like, oh my god, just CoffeeZilla, put on the bat cowl. Like, you honestly, you've earned it. Aaron has greatest detective.
Dollars of Legos going missing. According to CoffeeZilla's breakdown, there appears to have been far more of Brian's Lego in the store on the handover night than Bam initially suggested. Bam's public statement talked about only $2,000 to $5,000 worth of potentially related sets. CoffeeZilla says he found roughly $21,000 worth that could be matched from the photos and videos, which is obviously a very different number.
We looked through over
GameStop numbers, I said it.
Photos, multiple videos, and matched what we saw with Brian's collection. In the end, I ended up with about $21,000 of Legos matching Brian's collection that can be proven to be in the store on the night of November 14th. Now, to state the obvious, that's about 3 to 5 times what corporate estimated, at least on their press release.
But he also found reasons the full $200,000 figure may not represent what was actually missing from the store that night. Some of the collection may have been sold, some may have been in layaway, and some may have been part of separate storage or involved in side deals. His estimate was that the unexplained missing Legos might be closer to $10,000 to $20,000 worth, while Brian may still be owed something more like $50,000 to $83,000 overall. The biggest moment was when the bricks and minifigures side appeared to say they never got Brian's spreadsheet, only for CoffeeZilla to point out that the file appeared to be owned by a bricks and minifigs account.
We asked for it. It says it's. I'm so confused. It says I'm on the file right now. It says storage used, owned by BAM franchise.
I said it before with part 1. Like, he has tells that he's lying. Watch his body movement.
Inc. Owner Salem.org.
He's jittering a lot, and he knows he's getting caught.
Bricksandminifigs.com.
What are you looking at?
It says owner Salem.or at bricksandminifigs.com. That's you guys. It says owned by BAM Franchising Inc. It says created September 6, 2024. And when I look at it, this is the Mansell list, I believe.
You got the full spreadsheet. Oh
so
my
this,
god.
This would have been created under so we have the
y'all definitely have this. Y'all have access to this.
He can't think of an excuse.
I had no idea. Like, so if this is the first that anybody has shown me that a spreadsheet was created using like Bricks and Minifigs Salem, like, and all of this stuff was archived.
Today, Junior!
This is the first I've seen that this spreadsheet was created by Crystal. And we don't know how accurate it is, how up to date it was. We don't know a lot of those types of things and understand.
Brother, that you literally just named off an employee. This is from your company. And the employee you named off works for you.
And I appreciate you sharing this with us because we had no idea. Again, you don't know what you don't know.
And that's only just one reason why people on the internet are now saying that there are obvious lies, or at least obvious contradictions in Bam's new story. For starters, they kept changing stories when explaining the U-Haul truck. The $2,000 to $5,000 number is clearly bullshit. They claimed not to do consignment despite it being part of the franchise agreement, and now they're trying to plead ignorance but tripping over their own lies. What happens next is out of everyone's hands but the courts. A judge will decide whether the gag order becomes long-term, that decides whether episode 3 ever exists in public, and somewhere in the process we'll learn where the GoFundMe money actually goes, whether Brian takes the deal, and whether Ben walks away from his criminal charges or into a cell. And don't expect a satisfying ending. Almost everything about this story is now inside a courtroom, where things move slowly and nobody is allowed to talk. If you want to stay updated on this situation, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. Click the video on screen to watch more.
My god. Yeah, give this a like. Jesus Christ. This should not be a mess, but it is. Yeah, and here's the CoffeeZilla thing. Oh my god. We'll watch this probably tomorrow.